The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A school comes under siege.
And the school is in a panic. I've got students down under the tables, kids. Heads under the tables.
When two students launch a deadly assault on Columbine High.
Oh, God. Stay in the line of fire. Oh, God. Kids, just stay down.
The whole time I just pretended to be dead.
At the time, it was the worst school shooting in American history.
There were a total of 15 bodies. There were 11 males and 4 females.
While people grieve, questions turn to the motive
I'm gonna pull out a goddamn shotgun and blow your damn head off!
that drove these young men to murder,
I'll rip off your goddamn head!
and whether warning signs were missed.
When you start putting all these pieces together to the puzzle, then you're saying, boy, there's a red flag.
The questions and answers. The story behind the Columbine Massacre on the Final Report. April the 20th, 1999. Jefferson County, Colorado. 11:10 a.m. A typical morning at Columbine High. About 2,000 students attend the school near the affluent Denver suburb of Littleton. 16-year-old Marjorie Lindholm is about to take a science test.
It was an average morning. Everything was fine. I had a big test I was kind of nervous about, and I was supposed to kind of meet a boy that day who I had a crush on.
Some students are headed for lunch. This footage from a CCTV camera shows the cafeteria slowly filling up. Within minutes, there will be 500 people in the canteen. 11:14 a.m. No one notices when someone leaves 2 duffel bags on the floor. 11:19 a.m. Outside the school's west entrance, 17-year-olds Richard Castaldo and Rachel Scott are eating lunch. As they talk, a pipe bomb lands a few feet from where they are sitting.
I didn't really realize it was supposed to be a bomb at first. I kind of thought it was like a thing of fireworks or something like that. It didn't do anything at all. I didn't really think much of it.
Then, about 60 feet away, Castaldo sees 2 male teenagers dressed in long black trench coats. Without warning, they pull out guns from under their coats. One of them has a rifle and a sawn-off shotgun. The other has a sawn-off shotgun and a semi-automatic handgun. Their actions raise the first of many questions asked by the final report. How were teenagers able to obtain such weapons?
And then they just, started shooting. And I didn't really have any time to react at all,
Rachel Scott is shot 4 times and dies instantly. Castaldo is shot 8 times, the bullet shattering 2 vertebrae. He begins to lose feeling in his legs.
Felt my feet going numb and my legs going numb. Kind of seemed like it was going from like the top up.
Who are the gunmen? While Castaldo lies motionless in the grass, 3 other students walk out of a cafeteria door. One of the gunmen aims and fires. He hits all 3. The pair then shoot 2 more students as they run for cover. How did the gunman learn to shoot with such accuracy? In the classroom, students begin to realize what is happening.
We were taking the test, and then we heard what we thought were rocks being thrown against the window. And then we heard a bunch of screaming.
In the main office, a secretary alerts the head, Frank DeAngelis.
And my secretary ran into my office and said that there had been gunshots fired. And so I ran out of my office into the hallway.
At 11:23, one of the students calls 911.
Someone's shooting a gun out here and someone got shot, I think.
Okay. Can you see anything going on over there?
No, some girl's on the ground saying she's paralyzed, and I think she's her.
Police issue a citywide call for help. 1,000 officers in the area race towards the school. The gunmen now turn and head towards this entrance, firing shots into the school and littering their path with pipe bombs. Where did the gunmen get these bombs? Just inside the west entrance is teacher Patty Nielsen. She recognizes the approaching gunmen as students at the school. Immediately she turns and runs towards the library. 11:24 a.m. A Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy is first on the scene. He exchanges gunfire with one of the gunmen, but no one is hit. The head, Frank DeAngelis, is standing at the opposite end of the hall as the two enter the school.
That's where I saw the gunman enter, and that's where the shots were being fired, and then the glass was breaking behind me.
On the lower level of the school, the cafeteria camera shows 42-year-old teacher Dave Sanders warning students to get out. Some escape up a nearby staircase. Upstairs, 17-year-old Patrick Ireland and two friends are in the library.
We're just hanging out, and all of a sudden a teacher ran in to the library, screaming and yelling, saying there's two kids with guns out in the hallway.
At 11:25 a.m., teacher Patty Nielsen enters the library. She grabs the phone and dials 911.
I'm a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun, and the school is in a panic, and I'm in the library. I've got students down under the tables, kids! Heads under the tables! We need police here.
Okay.
By now, the gunmen are inside the main hallway. Teacher Dave Sanders has just made his way up from the cafeteria and is at the end of the hall. The gunmen see Sanders and fire. He falls to the floor. Sanders is dragged into a nearby classroom where a group of terrified students is hiding. One of them is 16-year-old Marjorie Lindholm.
Two teachers helped him into the room. He had one arm over each, and he half walked and half was dragged in, and he just kind of collapsed. He had been shot twice, and he had been bleeding very, very badly.
At 11:29 a.m., the gunmen enter the library. 52 students, 2 teachers, and 2 library assistants are hiding under the tables. Among them is 16-year-old Craig Scott, the younger brother of Rachel Scott, who was shot and killed near the west entrance.
Immediately they were shooting off their guns, and they were yelling at everybody in the room. One of them said to the other, "Get anybody with a white hat on." And a lot of jocks wore white baseball caps, and I was wearing one. So I took it off and I put it underneath my shirt.
For the next 7 minutes, the two walk through the library, firing. Their methodical actions raise the question, what is their plan? Patrick Ireland and 2 friends are hiding under a table in the corner of the library.
When they got to our section, we all had our heads down in between our knees, basically.
One gunman shoots Patrick's friend in the knee. As Patrick reaches over to help him, his head momentarily appears from beneath the table.
And that's when I got shot. Got shot twice in the head and once in the foot.
Patrick loses consciousness. Craig Scott is under another table with 2 friends, 18-year-old Isaiah Scholes and 16-year-old Matt Kechter.
After a little while, they came over and they saw my friend Isaiah, and they began to make fun of him for being black. And then they shot Isaiah, and then they shot Matt. And the whole time I just just pretended to be dead.
At 11:36 a.m., the gunmen leave the library and head down the hall towards the science classroom. Minutes later, about 30 students escape through an emergency exit door. Pulling up outside the school are the police and emergency services. Their priority is to stop the rampage and rescue the students inside. Coming up next on The Final Report.
And this is Mark Taylor. Both of these boys were shot the day of the Columbine massacre. Richard is paralyzed for life and in a wheelchair. And Mark is barely standing after numerous operations.
The kids at Columbine had to pay a penalty. We paid a penalty that day for this nation, the way we look at it.
Mark and Richard were disabled and suffering from the 17-cent Kmart bullets still embedded in their bodies. As they showed me the various entry points for the bullets, I thought of one way we could reduce the number of guns and bullets laying around. I asked the boys if they'd like to go to Kmart to return the merchandise.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Mary Lorenz. I'm Director of Media Relations for Kmart.
Oh, good. All right, good.
How can I help you today?
Well, I'm here today. This is Richard Castaldo.
Richard, nice to meet you.
And this is Mark Taylor.
Mark.
And they're students from Columbine High School. They were shot at Columbine in the massacre with bullets from Kmart.
You came a long way.
Yes, they.
From Colorado.
Yeah, I just thinking it. Since you stopped selling the handguns and all, and they kind of make sense to stop selling the bullets too.
Our request is that you get rid of the 9mm bullets and that you don't sell them in a store completely.
You know, I can't answer these questions for you. I'm not the merchandiser who places those products in our stores.
To that person?
But I can get answers to those questions for you if you would like to leave your card, and I can get those answers.
No, we don't want to leave a card. Let me just be blunt. The reason why we can't take a card and come back is because Mark here, he's got a Kmart bullet just an inch away, right?
Yeah.
From your aorta.
In between my aorta and spine.
Between your aorta and spine. First thing we want to do is thank you for committing to no longer selling handgun ammunition in your stores. And within 90 days...
The process will be phased out within 90 days.
And after 90 days, there will be no more selling of ammunition that can go into handguns or assault weapons.
Firearm ammunition we will not sell it after 90 days in our stores.
Well, we greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do we have a copy of the
Thank you. Wow, that blows my mind. That's more than what we asked for.
This is remarkable.
Yeah.
This is remarkable.
Yeah. Well, like I told you.
I didn't get it.
Did you think? I'm like, we were ready. We're just getting ready to. We're going to the airport. Go to the airport.
The kids from Columbine had scored an overwhelming victory against Kmart, and it inspired me to do something that I knew I had to do.
Message to the victims in that community is to forgive.
Taylor was in Des Moines today for a book signing. His new book is titled I Asked, God Answered, A Columbine Miracle.
Today's April 22nd, 2009. It's been 10 years and 2 days since the Columbine shooting. And I'm here today with Mark and Donna Taylor. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
And Mark, one of the things we wanted to talk about today was what happened in Colorado Springs a couple of years ago. You were in Colorado Springs at some kind of a facility, is that correct?
Facility?
In Colorado Springs, did you stay at a halfway house or someplace?
The Lighthouse?
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
The Lighthouse.
Is it hard for you to remember the lighthouse in Colorado Springs? would you rather not talk about it? Denver, and you live in New Mexico now, right?
Yeah.
So who have you been staying with when you've been up here?
When I was up here?
Yeah. Up in Colorado for the anniversary. Who have you been staying with? It's hard to remember?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember writing your book?
Oh, yeah. I didn't really write it. I mean...
Well, tell us about your book. What's the book about?
Oh, it's about my, being shot.
What's the main point of the book?